Bob Horton, you're the chairman of Railtrack.
Well, I can see you don't pull your punches. That's all right. If you want to ask embarrassing questions, that's fine with me. Fine.
No, fine. I'd really like to talk about top management.
Yes.
The way in which a breed of top managers like yourselves, whose services have been honed in the private sector, are being recruited by the government to look at rather moribund public
old-fashioned, inefficient, slack, overmanned, feather-bedded public corporations, yes.
Exactly.
And that's what they called me into, because I'm a rough, tough, hands-on, hard-nosed... abrasive manager. I've got a harder nose than most people around.
Yes. And, of course, you used to be chairman of BP.
Yes, I did. I was chairman and chief executive of BP, and while I was there, I really made a difference. I'm a man... If I come into an organisation, they say, Bob Horton takes it over. Bob Horton shakes it up, makes the pit squeak.
Because you had a lot of experience, didn't you, with BP in America?
Yes. Well, that's where I learned about what being a manager really is. You see, in the Americans' idea of a businessman is a man who's imbued with a culture of success, who's efficient, who's competitive, and who is, of course, very highly rewarded. Now, we wanted to bring that culture over to British industry.
And what did you start with?
Well, we started with the high rewards. We thought, well, we'll see what the high rewards do, and there might be some efficiency and what was the other things I wanted, but if we're lucky, they will follow.
Absolutely. And you were paid as chairman and chief executive of BP £800,000.
£800,000 a year when I was chairman, yes.
But you did make a difference.
I did make a tremendous difference. When I left BP in June 1992, BP's profits for that year were £112 million.
Mm-hmm. And what were their profits when you joined the company?
When I became chief executive and chairman 2 years before that, they were £2.8 billion.
So, in effect, in just over 2 years, you lost the company £2.5 billion.
Well, I'm not very good at figures, but it's probably something of that order. But I did make a difference, you see. I mean,
Yes, in some senses you did.
Yes.
And then, of course, you were asked to resign.
No, that's I'd like to set the record straight on that. My fellow directors on the board of BP, Sir Patrick Sheehy and one or two others, called me in for a perfectly routine meeting on Sunday morning, and they put to me a hypothetical question. They said, look, Bob, if you were a director of a company and there was a chap working in this company who had made a catastrophic balls up of the job,
the whole job,
what would you do? Yes. So I said, well, of course, I'd fire him.
You would fire him?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Well, I fired 30,000 people when I was at BP, so one more wouldn't make much difference.
No. So did you...
So I said, yes, bring him to me and I'll fire him. And he said, no, it's you, Bob.
I see.
Yes, and I said, well, I don't want to go. I mean, there are things I want to do still at BP.
That's what they were afraid of.
Exactly, yes. So they said, well, what would it take, how much money would it take to get you out of here? And I said, I'm not interested in money. I'm really not interested in money, but $1.5 million would probably do it.
$1.5 million?
Yes.
Which is what you got?
That's what I got, yes.
Now, that seems to me an awful lot of money.
Oh, no.
Frankly. I mean, do you think you were worth that?
Absolutely worth it. Look, I mean, if you had lost your company £2.6 billion in 2 years, I mean, £1.5 million is very, very little to pay to stop you working there and doing any more.
Stop you working, yes. I can see that makes sense. And then, of course, not long after that, you were headhunted by the government.
By the government, yes.
To head up Railtrack.
Railtrack, yes. After the privatisation of the railways, they wanted somebody to run the one public sector part of the railways that was left. You see. They wanted somebody to bring in this...
the discipline of the market and the private sector aura of success. Yes. And have you made a difference?
I've made a tremendous difference. I mean, I've only been there, 6 months now, but we've already lost £200 million. And
you have.
And there are another £200 million, of course, has been lost to industry as a result of...
This is all to do with the strike,
Yes,
of course.
yes. I mean, but it won't be just that. It'll probably be more than that.
Yes, because British Rail will want compensating, won't they,
yes,
for the lack of business
That's
during
right. So
the
it could be anything up to £500 million. Yes. So, I mean, people had never heard of rail track when I took it over, but they have now.
That's true. Looking back at the strike, which is over now, of course, would you have done anything different at all?
Well, no, I don't think so. I went on holiday when it started, and
well, you'd only been working there for about 2 months.
Yes, I was very exhausted. It was very stressful time. So I went on holiday to France, and then I came back, which some people thought was a mistake, but I did offer, you see, to speak to Mr. Knapp at any time.
Yes.
Absolutely, any time. I said I will talk to Mr. Knapp at any time. Well, not on Thursdays, because I don't work on Thursdays.
No, or Fridays.
No, I don't work on Fridays. No, I only work a 3-day week
for which you're being paid £120,000 a year, is that
well,
right?
exactly, you see. I mean, so it shows that I don't do everything for money. I mean, you know, it's...
You do it for the challenge.
I do it for the love of it, and for the challenge, yes.
Absolutely.
Otherwise I wouldn't work for peanuts as well like that, would I?
That's very true. So, it is true, however, isn't it, to say that at the beginning of the strike, you did offer the signalman 5.6% as a means of settling the dispute.
No, we didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No. We never offered that.
You can say categorically that you never did.
Absolutely, yes. Or, well, let me put that in a slightly different way. Yes, we did offer it. We did offer it, but it was offered not by me, but at somebody at a slightly lower level of management.
Can I just make this point? Have it ever occurred to you that perhaps there might be a different agenda here?
In what way?
Well, hasn't it ever occurred to you that perhaps the government, who are notoriously anti-rail, headhunted you because of your track record, and thought that if they left you in charge of it, the railway system would eventually come to its knees, and then they could say, we can't go on pouring money into this, it's not working, and then they could sell off the assets, the land, the stations, and everything else for a knockdown price of a few £1 billion, and then announce some tax cuts with the process.
Yes, I suppose that's possible. Yes, but I don't think they're as clever as that.
Bob Horton, thank you very much.
Thank you.